I'm the best. I'm the best in the world.
Welcome once again, my fellow manipulators of digital fate. I'm Richie, this is Capricorn, and today we're back at it with another standard deck tech straight out of 𝑇𝑒𝑟𝑟𝑎𝑐ℎ Dragonstorm Standard. But this one's a little bit special. This is WrestleMania weekend. So this one's called CM Punk. Why? Because best in the world. Because main eventer. That's why. But all joking aside, this deck's kind of nuts. We're going back to 𝐻𝑒𝐈𝑟𝑎𝑐ℎ Resolve, and we have some pretty crazy upgrades from the last couple sets. You guys might remember me running a similar deck to this a while back, and I'm kind of in love with the concept, and it's even better than it's ever been because of some new cards. The main one being Flamehold Grappler, CM Punk himself. That card is just absolutely insane when you use it right. And in this deck, we're able to flicker it every single turn and get its trigger every single turn while still having access to all of our untapped lands, which is just insane. But everything this deck does is insane. I'm going to shut up so that we can break it all down and then get into the gameplay. Before we do, please like the video. It helps me get it out to so many more people and helps the channel grow. Also, subscribe if you're new so you never miss an upload. Got tons of crazy stuff on the way. Catch me live Monday through Friday over on Twitch. That's twitch.tv/QuarantineCapricorn. Because if I'm alive and I'm breathing, I'm there and I'm streaming. Also, like this video and let me know in a comment what you'd like to see me brew with next. Because if this video gets to 100 likes, I'm going to pick whichever comment has the most likes in the comments, and I'm going to make that deck happen. So let's make it happen. It's WrestleMania weekend. Let's do it. So I'm kind of in love with the concept of this deck, and we got some really cool upgrades for it in 𝑇𝑒𝑟𝑟𝑎𝑐ℎ Dragonstorm. So first of all, the core of the deck revolves around 𝐻𝑒𝐈𝑟𝑎𝑐ℎ Resolve, a 5-mana enchantment that gives all of our creatures +1/+0 and haste, but all of that is kind of just extra. The main reason we want to run this is at the beginning of our end step, we exile any number of non-token artifacts and or creatures you control. Return those cards to the battlefield under their owner's control at the beginning of your next upkeep. Because we get to flicker both artifacts and creatures, this sort of fits perfectly into a Pixie build that is focusing on artifacts rather than enchantments. So we're going Jeskai artifacts specifically for Pixie shenanigans, but then we're absolutely turning the 𝐻𝑒𝐈𝑟𝑎𝑐ℎ Resolve up to 11 and getting the most value out of it that we can. And one of the ways that we're doing that is with a brand new card, Flamehold Grappler, a 3/3 first striking human monk for 3 mana in the colors of Jeskai. And when it enters, you copy the next spell you cast this turn when you cast it, and you can choose new targets for the copy. So the important thing to note about this card is, in addition to it being just a really good body, a 3/3 first striker that they can't kill with shock, they can't kill with cut down, they can't kill in combat unless they can survive 3 damage, it also just copies the next spell we cast, and that's not limited to instants or sorcery. So if we copy one of our permanents, like one of our artifacts, we actually get a token of that in play, which in this deck, we're making so much value with everything that we cast, it can get absolutely insane with a Flamehold Grappler. Even if we're just using Nurturing Pixie to pick up something, we can create 2 Nurturing Pixies that will both be 2/2 flyers, and we get to pick up 2 of our permanents to recast off just 1 Flamehold Grappler for a total of 4 mana, which can be pretty absurd. But if we have a little bit more mana, we're able to copy even more, even crazier things with the Flamehold Grappler. And then what makes it super crazy in this deck is because we're running the 𝐻𝑒𝐈𝑟𝑎𝑐ℎ Resolve, we can flicker this every turn. It will come back into play, trigger again, making it so that the next thing that we cast will get doubled, while we still have access to all of our mana untapped, because it's coming back into play without having to pay for it because of the 𝐻𝑒𝐈𝑟𝑎𝑐ℎ Resolve. So then we can just cast whatever we want and make extra copies every single turn that we flicker this. Plus it's getting the +1/+0 and haste from the Resolve, so it's swinging in as a 4-power first striker every single turn in addition to getting that trigger, and it can be just absolutely absurd. Let's go back to the bottom of the curve and talk about the entire deck from that point on. So we've already talked about the 4 Nurturing Pixies, which is doubling down on all the synergies we're trying to get with Nahiri's Resolve, with all of the, you know, flickering and ETB value, but just working super well as we're curving out as well. We're running 2 copies of Sunpearl Kirin in this. Originally, I wanted to run the full playset, but I think it works best as sort of a 5th and 6th copy of the Pixie, giving you 6 cards that accomplish that same feat. We don't want to go too deep, because I realized very quickly that getting to flicker and re-trigger these every single turn, sometimes you have more value than you can actually make use of if you have too many of these effects. But I do think the 2 Sunpearl Kirin to act as you know, 5th and 6th copies of the Pixie, and to give us more gas, and also copies that can flash in and give us a little bit of versatility, are definitely valuable. We also have 2 copies of This Town Ain't Big Enough, which sort of act in the same capacity, except they also give us a way to instant speed interact with our opponent's board, to either set them behind on tempo, or get rid of something really problematic on their board. So 2 copies I think is the right amount, although this is another one that I initially wanted to try to run 4 copies of, and I think running 2 in addition to the 2 Kirin is where we want to be. Moving on to the rest of the 2-drop slot, we have Charming Scoundrel. This might get overlooked, but it gives us a ton of versatility. Not only does it make us a treasure so that we can get to an early Nahiri's Resolve, potentially turn 4 or maybe even turn 3 in conjunction with some of the other cards we haven't talked about yet, but it's another thing that we can flicker with the Resolve and get even more value every single turn, and it's also an auxiliary way to draw into more cards. So if we need to get a land, or if we need to just draw into our Nahiri's Resolve, this is a way to also do that by choosing to discard and then draw. So there's a lot of versatility in the Scoundrel, but just having that board presence that ramps us up and then gets value off the Resolve earlier is important. In a similar fashion, we're running 4 copies of Helpful Hunter. Being able to play it early as we're curving out, draw into more land drops, or draw into our Nahiri's Resolve, and then have it potentially still be there as something to flicker with the Resolve is super helpful. But it's also something that we could just chump block with, just like with the Scoundrel, just like with a lot of the creatures in this deck, to just keep us alive long enough to get to our Resolve. The last thing that we're running, at least proactively in the 2-drop slot, is Barbed Batterfist, which I think is just amazing in this deck. For 2 mana, it's going to come down, it's going to create a token creature that this is then automatically equipped to. It's going to be a 3/1, so it can trade pretty effectively against some of your opponent's key creatures. But what's important is, even if you lose that token creature, you can still keep flickering the Barbed Batterfist with the Nahiri's Resolve, or keep, you know, returning it to your hand with stuff like Pixie and recasting it to get more value, which is super important. It's also something that leaves behind a token that we can block with if we want to flicker it with the Nahiri's Resolve and still leave behind blockers, and that's a really important playline that we need access to, and I think Barbed Batterfist is the best card that gives us access to that kind of playline, so we're running all 4 copies. In addition, we do have a good amount of removal in the 2-drop slot, but because we have so many ways to reuse that removal, whether it's with Pixie type effects or the Resolve itself, we don't want to go too deep into it. But I think 3 copies of Chainsaw, which can be flickered with the Resolve to kill something every single turn if we want, but also double as a potential win condition, equipping it to one of our flyers and getting in for an insane amount of damage if it's just sat there all game accumulating counters, is nice. In addition, we also have 3 copies of Spring-Loaded Sawblades. This lets us interact at instant speed with an attacker, but more importantly, it lets us kill things that are a little bit bigger than the Chainsaw, and a lot of times we want to try to get to a point where we have 1 Chainsaw and 1 Spring-Loaded Sawblades available to us so that we can flicker them and use them as we see fit, or bounce them and recast them as we see fit. So I think 3 copies of each of those, giving us a nice 6-card package of removal, is where we want to be as well. Moving on to the 3-drop slot, we have 2 more pieces of removal that also act as an auxiliary way to create treasure to ramp us to that turn 4 Resolve we were talking about when we were talking about the Charming Scoundrel, and that's those 2 copies of Kitesail Larcenist. This comes into play as a 2/3 flyer for 3 with Ward 1, turns one of their things into a treasure so it can get rid of key permanents on the opponent's side, and make it so that they're not going to run us over while we're trying to get to the Resolve. But it can also turn one of our negligible permanents into a treasure as well, so that we can again ramp up to a Nahiri's Resolve as quick as possible. So I think 2 copies is nice. It's another one of those cards I'd like to add more of, but there's just too many cards that need to fit into this deck. I think 2 copies is nice. It gives us 6 cards that can create treasure tokens, as well as access to removal for bigger problematic permanents, so 2 copies is where I'm at with this. We're also running 2 copies of Guardian of Ghirapur. This card's another insane card I wish we could run more of, because on curve, sometimes this card lets this deck function almost like it's an aggro deck. We can play it, immediately flicker like something like a Barbed Batterfist, and then not only do we get the 2/2 token from the original Batterfist, we get another 3/1 when the Batterfist comes into play, in addition to the 3/3 flyer that we got with the Guardian of Ghirapur, all for just 3 mana, which can be a pretty nuts line. But it also gives us versatility, getting to reuse the Spring-Loaded Sawblades or the Chainsaw as we see fit. Maybe just flickering a Pixie or a Sunpearl Kirin so that we can put something back in our hand and stick it away for a rainy day when we might need it later. Or just drawing cards with Helpful Hunter. There's a lot we can do with the Ghirapur, sometimes even just flickering the Scoundrel to give us another treasure so that we have a second treasure, so that we can definitely play a Resolve next turn if we don't have another land. So a lot of really cool lines you can do with the Guardian. Again, another card I'd love to add more than 2, but there are just way too many cards that want to fit in this deck, and I think the lower curve cards are more important than our 3-drops. The last card in the 3-drop slot that I really want to talk about is the Cryptic Coat. This is another card that we're running just 2 copies of, but it can be pretty gnarly. You play this for 3 mana, and it cloaks the top card of our library, so it gives us 2 permanents that are really, really good to flicker. We can then, with Nahiri's Resolve, flicker the coat to cloak another card when it comes back, but also flicker the thing that we cloaked so that it comes back the next turn as whatever the actual card is. We can do some really crazy stuff too, like play Cryptic Coat, and if we hit a Nahiri's Resolve as the face down cloaked creature, we can then play something like a Guardian of Ghirapur, target the face down creature, and it will come back into play at the end of turn as a Nahiri's Resolve. So we can actually ramp out our Nahiri's Resolve way quicker that way and get even more value. And we can do similar things by, you know, using Pixie or whatever to pick up whatever we cloak with the coat and cast it if it's something that we need to get access to. So a lot of versatility as well with the coat. Again, a lot of these 3-drops are things I would love to add more of, and we just kind of can't, because we need to kind of keep the curve low, and there's just so many other cards that want to be in this deck in high numbers. So I'm gonna stick with the 2. I think running 2 copies of Cryptic Coat, Guardian, Kitesail Larcenist, and the Flamehold Grappler is better than doubling down on, you know, just a couple of those and running 4 ofs. But that being said, maybe with some more testing, some of these cards might be worth the slots more than others. And let me know in the comments if you have an opinion about that, because I think sticking with 2 of all 4 might be the better way to go. Excuse me, I'm still kind of getting over being sick. But who knows, it might just be better to double down on a couple of these. The last card we have here is Boommobile, which seems a little out of place at first glance until you realize the insane combos you can pull off with it. So 4 mana, it's a 5/5 vehicle with crew 2, but when it enters you add 4 mana of any one color. You can only spend that mana to activate abilities. And then it has an exhaust ability where you can pay 3 and X to deal X damage to any target at all, even your opponent's head if you want, and put a counter on the vehicle. So what you can do is, if you have a Boommobile already on the battlefield and you play your Nahiri's Resolve, you can flicker the Boommobile every single turn, create that 4 mana every single turn while the rest of your lands are all untapped, and then use all of your mana to dump into the exhaust ability, nuke them in the face, kill their big creature, kill their planeswalker, whatever you want to do, and then next turn, it just gets flickered and does it all over again. Every single turn, you can dump all of your mana plus the 4 that the Boommobile makes into the exhaust ability, because the exhaust resets. As soon as it leaves play and enters play again because of the resolve, it forgets that it used its exhaust ability, and you can just use it every single turn with a whole bunch of mana because all your mana is untapped, and just kill whatever you need to kill, or just kill your opponent outright. It's pretty nuts. And then because of the haste and the +1 power on the Nahiri's Resolve, it means even a simple 1/1 like Helpful Hunter will now be a 2 power creature, which can crew the Boommobile, which will now be a 6 or potentially 7 power vehicle, and can immediately swing in because of the haste that Resolve gives it. So there's just a lot of insane lines you can do with Boommobile. That being said, it is a 4-drop, and I do think we need to stick as low on the curve as possible in this deck. So we are only running 1 copy, but man, there's a part of me that just wanted to run like 3 of these and go completely wild with it. But I think it's too good to not at least include, so we are going to run the 1 copy, and that's pretty much the deck. The mana base is very specific so that we can get access to the colors that we need when we need them. To check out the full deck list, check out the description of the video, and with all of that out of the way, let's check out the games. Alright, this seems like it'll work. We don't have access to blue anytime soon, and we only have the 1 red because we have all verges. So Flamehold Grappler might get a little weird, but we need more mana in order to play Flamehold Grappler and actually utilize its ability anyway. So that might be fine. It might be fine. Let's start with the Riverpyre Verge, make sure we have our red mana. Alright, we'll go... I guess we go Scoundrel and make a treasure. If we can just get to 5 for Nahiri's Resolve, we'll be in such good shape. We're almost there. We've got 3 lands. What do we want to spend our mana doing? We definitely don't want to play the Flamehold Grappler yet. We'll have to use the treasure to do it. We want to save that for the Resolve. So I think we just attack and then play the Barbed Batterfist. We could hold up the Spring-Loaded Sawblades, but he's clearly playing some kind of a control variant, so that feels very wasteful. So we'll just do that. Okay, he's going to temporary lockdown. That's actually really bad. It hits our treasure token. It's probably the worst card we could have hit right now. And normally it's not really much of a problem. But we have no blue mana. And we need to get to 5 for Nahiri's Resolve. So that's a problem. We could top deck a blue source. Or something to turn on the Riverpyre Verge. We'd at least have a chance. Hey, there we go. There we go. Do we want the Pixie? We could Flamehold Grappler into Pixie. I think we try to keep it. That could theoretically get us our 5th land. All we need is a way to actually bounce it back to our hand. Or just flicker it. Let's see what the opponent's doing here. Definitely an Azorius control deck. Tricky. Well, we're going to try to swing in, see what the opponent does. He's going to rides end it. I might be okay with that. I might be okay with that. I know I want to use this town ain't big enough as a trick on his turn to lift the lockdown. Just trying to think about what I want to do this turn. If we use this town now to save our Pixie, he can just replay the lockdown next turn, and then we don't get what we need in order to play the Resolve. So I think we just let him. And then if we want to be able to keep one of these on the battlefield, we're going to need something out. So I think we play the Chainsaw. It does mean that if he has a counterspell that requires us to pay 2 extra mana, we don't get to dodge it. That's okay. I think we've got all the value in the world, and I think we're going to get there. So, I am not too concerned. Alright, this town will do the chainsaw and the lockdown. And we'll make a treasure token. And then we will play the Nahiri's Resolve. And then we will attack for 6. And then we will flicker the Coat, the Batterfist, and the Scoundrel, so that he can't get rid of them with the temporary lockdown. He can hit the token, but that's it, man. He's not getting very much from the Beza either, because we just have all the value in the world. Yeah, we didn't even get to do our thing. We were about to Boommobile combo. And Flamehold Grappler. Oh, and he just scooped it up. This actually looks pretty decent. We'll try and make this one work. Thundering Falls on 1. Sunbillow Verge on 2. Most likely into a Barbed Batterfist. We'll actually keep the Guardian. I do really want to get to more land. But the 1-2 punch of Batterfist into Guardian just puts us way ahead on tempo, so we have to take the opportunity. Ember Heart Challenger, sure. Would you like to attack, sir? Yeah, I'll trade. That sounds wonderful. Thank you for that. Alright, Guardian. Batterfist. Alright, we got some pretty wild stuff going on now. Pretty wild stuff. Even my dog's getting grumpy about it. Hey, Bobo. Stop being a grump. Come here. Come here. Alright, we're just gonna let him do his thing. Dog's losing his mind. It's fine. It's fine. No one cares. I think we're just gonna race. We have a lot of opportunities here, but I think we're just gonna race. My dog is losing his mind. I apologize, everybody. We're gonna Flamehold Grappler. And then we're gonna Pixie. We're gonna bounce the Barbed. And then we're gonna bounce the Guardian. And now we have like all the value in the world. We could have bounced the Flamehold Grappler itself back to our hand to keep doing shenanigans with it, which is kind of awesome. Alright, sure, we have a Manifold Mouse. I mean, we'll just do that. And he gets to do 3 damage, and we can't gain life, but we have no life gain in the deck anyway, so not super concerned about that. We do have 5 mana, and a whole lot of value, it seems. Let's go with... trying to think, like, what do we want to flicker with the Guardian? I guess probably just the Barbed Batterfist, huh? So we'll play the Guardian, we'll flicker the Batterfist, and we'll just swing in the air and hold up our other guys. And I think we got it. Doggo, are you okay, buddy? You're just freaking out, man. You're gonna be on the YouTube video, and everyone's gonna be wondering what the heck's going on with you. Come here. Come here. Hey, come here. Come here. Okay. You're okay. We're not okay, but you're okay. He wants us to block this with the Grappler, doesn't he? He's gonna make it real big, isn't he? Well, I guess we will indulge him, huh? If he's got more bounce, we don't kill it. And if we block with everything, we also still don't kill it, right? Well, maybe we do this instead. Yeah, let's just do that. That seems fine. Let's see what he's got in there. Worst case scenario, we still don't really take very much damage. And we remain at about half life, and he's like out of gas. So I think we're fine, no matter what. Alright, Witchstalker Frenzy, sure. Another Witchstalker Frenzy, sure. So he hits us for 4 with that guy, but he is 100% out of gas. And I don't think we really need to worry that much. I mean... let's do that. And then, let's do this. And let's attack for 5. And then we can hold up the ability to use this town ain't big enough to make sure he can't swing with the Hired Claw. And what do we bounce? We have a lot of opportunities here. I think we bounce the Batterfist itself. Pretty much ensure that we get to win next turn. So he hits us for 1. Replays the Hired Claw. And it's over. Dump the land. Replay the Batterfist. Attach the Batterfist to the flyer. And swing him for 5. Again, no Nahiri's resolve, but we're still doing the thing. Alright, this looks fine. We'll keep it. Just all of the Scoundrels and all of the Sawblades, sure. Archive on 1, try to dig for something. Resolve. Do we keep it with only 2 mana? I guess we're going to make a bunch of treasures, right? We got to keep it. Especially because if we dump that one, it's going to be quite a while before we see another one. So let's just do what we got to do. We'll make a treasure here. Nowhere to run our Scoundrel, that's fine. We still have the treasure. I mean, if we keep forcing him to use his removal while building up treasures, I'm completely fine with that. Completely fine with that. There's another land. I guess we want to make sure we can cast the Resolve, right? Especially seeing as we're up against a Pixie deck. If he can't take away our value and our card advantage. Actually, you know what? We can play another Pixie. We're still going to have 5 mana next turn. But yeah, if he can't take away our card advantage and our value because of Resolve, Resolve just keeps creating more. I don't think the discard deck can really race us in any significant way. I think we just get there. Sunpearl Kirin, sure. Bounces the Nowhere to Run. Replays the Nowhere to Run. So now the question is, do we play the Resolve first, not getting any value whatsoever on it this turn? but ensuring that we can use it on subsequent turns? Or do we try to get some value out there with like a Cryptic Coat or something? We're going to do it this way. We're going to Cryptic Coat, because we can use one of the treasures now that we have a 4th land. We can very easily use one of the treasures to play a Spring-Loaded Sawblades as well. And then discard 1 Sawblades if we have to his discard cards. Unless he's got 2 discard cards, which would be really, really bad for us. Alright, we'll kill you. We'll take 2. Alright, he doesn't. And he can't have a counterspell, right? Alright, let's try to attack unblockable. And let's see if we can do the thing now. I mean, we could have gotten through for an extra point of damage if we played it first. But I was kind of just wanting to bait him into using his mana if I could. I know he's not playing blue. Maybe I'm just a little paranoid, I guess. There's a Corroding Dragonstorm. But I think we're going to be way too far ahead at this point. We just get an insane amount of value off this. We'll make a treasure token. We'll kill the Sunpearl Kirin. Yeah, he's just going to scoop. Nahiri's Resolve just takes the game. It's great. Alright, this looks pretty decent. We'll try to keep this. Probably play the Scoundrel on 2. Maybe Pixie it. Probably not. But we're going to try. We're going to try and make this work. Crotad. Crotad. Souls of the Lost. Alright. Well, we'll jam a Floodfarm Verge. Do we want to kill it while we can? I think we want to kill it while we can. Before it gets any bigger. Before it gets any bigger. Even though that does help things like Huskburst or Swarm. If he's got more stuff like that in his hand. It's okay though, we'll make it work. We will make it work. Alright, impending. We'll go Plains. We could Scoundrel Pixie. That would make sure we had a treasure in case we draw the Resolve next turn. I think it's probably just better to Cryptic Coat though. Alright, we hit a land. It's probably good. That's probably good. 4 mana. Well, we'll start with a Charming Scoundrel. We'll make a treasure. And then we will attack without using the rest of our mana yet. We could, this town ain't big enough. I think it's better to just get the Barbed Batterfist out. Go even wider with things so that if we draw the Resolve, we're good to go. Hollow Marauder. Sure. If we don't discard something with mana value 4 or greater, he gets to draw a card. So we'll discard This Town Ain't Big Enough. No cards for you, my friend. See, we could Boommobile and kill his Hollow Marauder, but we'd have to use our treasure to do it. Which puts us in a position where we can't play the Nahiri's Resolve if we pick it up. I think it's actually probably better to just do this. We'll kill the Hollow Marauder. And we will attack. And honestly, I think we're going to equip the Barbed Batterfist to this guy. Just in case. Just in case. I don't see any white, so I don't expect 𝑍. Actually, if he had 𝑍, it wouldn't matter. It wouldn't have 3 toughness, right? Maybe I'm just paranoid about this thing. The ancient one. Well, there's our 5th land. So we can kill the Overlord pretty easily here. And we don't have to feel too bad about it either. One, 2, 3. Kill you. Because now we have 5 lands, so even if we draw the Resolve, we're still good to go. Ancient One does not come online. He does still have a bunch of mana. So it's not over yet. He's gonna do the thing. Gonna have to mill himself so that he can block, which honestly is fine. We don't lose very much. He prevents 2 damage. He goes down to 1. We get a counter on the chainsaw, and we're pretty much good to go. We didn't even hit a resolve, and we were still able to push through just with our value. Yeah, it's over. It's over. I think we can make this work. We don't really have a 2-drop, which is kind of pivotal, and we're on the go, which is a really bad sign. Maybe we can't make it work. This would be perfect if we just had a 2-drop. Like, literally perfect. But we just don't. And we only have 1 draw to find one. It's just not going to happen. This is better. We can keep this. Put back the Pixie. Make sure to keep our lands. Seems okay. Not super good, but okay. I think we probably want you. And we'll play the card draw first. Although it might have made sense to play the Barbed Batterfist first. Just so that we can try to be aggressive. Well, we will absolutely play the chainsaw. 1000%. Get rid of that guy. And swing in. Let's see what he's got. He's got an 𝑇𝑒𝑚𝑒 Forge. That's unfortunate. We can wait a couple turns for it to build up some counters and then bounce it with this town. So it's not the worst ever. But it's not super good either. Fabled Passage, sure. We can definitely race the Forge. Like, the Resolve is way crazier than the Forge. And we've got our 5th land here, so... Brotherhood's End, 3 damage to each creature. Well, if that's the case, we're gonna do that. And then it's time for the Resolve. It's time for the Resolve to resolve. A second one. Oh boy. And we basically just have to race the Forge as best we can. The Hunter will help us find more things to play, which is nice. Forge is coming down fresh. There's no way he wins that race. I don't even think he realizes it. go ahead. Torch it. Doesn't really matter that much, my friend. Helpful Hunter will draw us a card. Play the land. Can't really equip any of this, can we? Well, that was unfortunate. It was unfortunate to hit a land and a resolve as the 2 cards. But we got plenty of gas to exile now, so we should be okay. Worst case scenario, we just play another resolve and we buff up our attacks even more. It's not really going to help as far as flickering things. Alright, Voice of Victory goes bye-bye because of the chainsaw. Good night. Man, we just keep drawing all the lands. Let's see what we hit here. Just a land. Well, we might as well use this and attack for a whole bunch. And then flicker. Maybe we don't flicker the creature. I don't think we need the land. 3, 4, 5. Actually, we might. It might let us play another Nahiri's Resolve. When otherwise we wouldn't be able to. Like play a Nahiri's Resolve and a 3-drop. And him being at 6, I don't necessarily think we need an extra body. It also could die to a sweeper. If he had a sweeper left behind, kill that and our token. Could be pretty bad. Alright. Alright, we're going to try and keep this. We have no red mana, which is kind of a bummer. But we do have Sawblades on 2 and Larcenist on 3 at the worst. Which seems like it's okay. We will lead with the Verge. Potentially have the ability to turn on some red mana depending on what we draw. No bueno. So we will pass. Do you have a hasty guy we can use the Sawblades on? Guess not. Well, we'll play another one of you. I guess we just do this. Just so we have something. He probably kills it, which is fine. Another Sunbillow Verge? What is going on, dude? What is going on? I guess we'll attack. Uses Elspeth's Smite. Sure. We'll end the turn. This is so dumb. 3 Sunbillow Verges and our only island. Like, that's the only land our deck gives us. So crazy. So crazy. Alright, we're gonna find a mountain. We've got 5 mana now. 5. Play the Flamehold Grappler. It'll probably get countered. Alright, we get the ability. So we'll Scoundrel. And we'll get 2 Scoundrels. The first one's going to discard draw. Clearly we don't need our removal. And I think the next one... I think we'll also discard draw. We have 5 mana. We don't really need the mana anymore. Swing in. We've got card advantage in our hand, so that's really good. Seeing as we're up against a deck like this. Mind Splice Apparatus. Haven't seen that one in a while. Sunfall? Day of Judgment. That's fine. Not worried about it. We've got all the value in the world coming. Alright. No interaction in his hand, it seems. So we'll drop the big bomb. Oh, maybe he does. Okay, we let it through. Feels pretty good. What did we hit? Ooh, the Resolve is underneath. The Resolve is underneath. So we're gonna... This town ain't big enough. The Resolve and the Mind Splice Apparatus. I think that's the plan. We're gonna try and swing first. He smites the Hunter. Sure. What else? He's gonna return it. Well, we're gonna return it. And return this. And then we'll go with Charming Scoundrel. We'll do more discard draw. Get rid of the chainsaw since it doesn't seem like we need it. He is running out of gas. And his apparatus is reset. Let's just take a chance. He's got one last card in his hand. We're going to try to slip it in before he can draw more. Oh, he's got the Fountain Port. We shouldn't have attacked with the Scoundrel. I don't think it'll matter too much. Oh, he didn't block. I think he lined it up improper. I don't think it would have mattered too much. Because even just the coat alone is going to get us all the value that we need. And it doesn't feel like he's got any answers. He's pretty out of gas. Alright. We will go treasure token. And then we grab another Helpful Hunter. And we've got a land. Let's play the Helpful Hunter to try to draw. Let's play Chainsaw to kill his token. He can make another one and block one of our dudes. So I don't think we really want to do that. So instead, we're just going to attack with the unblockable guy. And we're going to try to flicker everything again. Did he draw interaction? That's the question. Did he draw interaction? He's going to Floodmaw my Resolve. That seems okay. It only sets us back one turn. I'm okay with that. We'll end the turn. Now he has to find find a counterspell for the Resolve, because I'm pretty sure he doesn't have any hard removal for it in the deck. Show me. Like Sun's Twilight. I mean, I guess that's something. let me decide what I want to do here. Could bounce the Cryptic Coat, could flip the Hunter. Flipping the Hunter doesn't really do anything, does it? Do we want to bounce the Cryptic Coat? Probably. Another Cryptic Coat. Well. 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2. Let's do this. If we turn our chainsaw, we could play 𝐻𝐿𝐴𝐻𝐿's Resolve. That feels bad. Submit 0. Don't think we care about his apparatus anymore. We'll hit one of those. And then we'll Cryptic Coat. He has to get really lucky with a top deck here. I don't think he will. Guess we'll find out. Just gonna sack one of them to draw off the Fountain Port, probably. No, he's just gonna Elspeth Smite. Interesting. Wait, why did he get an untapped Might? So confused. I have no idea what just happened. We have to stop all of these boys, though. We have 7. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So we can't play... We definitely can't play the Resolve yet. We need to go wider with things. No tax. Do you have the removal, sir? Show me. Show me the power. Show me. I want to see it. I want to see it. We could hit for 10 next turn unblockable if we wanted to. Actually 13 because of the Rebel token. He's just going to draw all the cards. I mean, makes sense. He's got an apparatus with 3 counters on it. Plenty of land. That's probably our undoing, to be honest. It's probably over. Luckily, we do have the ward. That kind of helps. But it's not looking great. It is not looking great. Probably got a sweeper, I would assume. Probably the same sweeper, to be honest. For 6, get 6 mites this time. Maybe not. Lockdown. Interesting. 2, 3. Oh, could you imagine? Could you imagine if we could get Grappler to work? This is a little bit risky, but he is pretty much out of mana. Let's just try to do it. No, he's got the negate. Well, I think that's probably it for us then. He's got an awful lot of cards. Awful lot of cards. We were very, 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 very close. Even with all of his insane value, we were very close of just smashing right through it all. But I think he's just got too much value. Especially with the Mind Splice apparatus. It's just too much. Huge White Sun's Twilight. Yeah, that's it. That is it, my friend. Good God. Damn shame. This looks okay. We're gonna keep it. Start with the falls. We can verge into a Scoundrel, probably. Don't think we need the second Scoundrel. I think we'd rather dig closer to an actual land so that we can get reusable mana instead of the treasure tokens. There we go. So we'll start with the Scoundrel. We'll make a treasure for the hopefully the inevitable Nahiri's Resolve. Okay, he's gonna cut down our guy. That's not that bad. Does make me kind of wish that I held on to the other Scoundrel, but normally they don't prioritize that. So kind of a little weird. We're going to try and hold on to the treasure for now. So I think it makes sense to just play the Cryptic Coat out. And we pulled a Nahiri's Resolve on the Cryptic Coat. That's actually super good. We can play Guardian of Ghirapur and flip the actual face-down creature so that it comes back as the Resolve. Oh, he's going to cut it down. Are you kidding me? He's doing, like, all of the things that you normally never do. And it's kind of wild. I guess we'll Guardian of Ghirapur again. Like, he's wasting his removal on stuff that he probably shouldn't. I mean, that last cut down, maybe, but the first one? Very sus. Very, very sus. Unless he's just playing entirely control. And almost everything in the deck is removal. At that point, you don't really let anything slip through, I guess. But him taking out that first Scoundrel is just weird. It's just weird. So we could Kitesail Larcenist. We could also just return the Cryptic Coat and replay it. I think I want to do this. Submit 0 of ours. Turn his into 1. Play the Batterfist out. Just try to get as ahead as possible. Still hold on to the treasure. Swing for 6. We almost had that perfect resolve opportunity, and now I'm super sad. Plays a Decadent Dragon. What is this deck? It's so weird. Maybe it's just, maybe it's just like a Dragon Tribal thing? We can't really successfully attack, which is kind of a bummer. We could Spring-Loaded Sawblades when he attacks, but I think I'd rather take the damage and then do it on our next turn. I think this turn, we'd rather just attack with the unblockable guy. And then return the coat and replay the coat for value. And let's see, we hit a Meticulous Archive, which is fine. Duress me. It's gonna hit the Sawblades, of course. So now we can't kill his dragon. I'm super bummed about that resolve, man. That would have been so good. Just flip it with the Guardian, you know? Alright, well, once again, we'll swing in unblockable. Put him at 8. We'll bounce this. We'll replay it. This time we've got a this town ain't big enough. I mean, at this point, we might as well just use the treasure. We've got plenty of land for if we draw a resolve. That's really all we need. We draw a resolve, like, the insane amount of value that creates is bananas. Just absolutely bananas. It's nice to know we do have another flyer if we're desperate. We can flip this for 2 into the Kirin. Alright, he's just gonna scoop. Guess we didn't even need the resolve to get there. Thanks so much for checking out my channel. I'd like to give a huge shout out to all of my patrons over at Patreon. Without you guys, this channel would not be possible, so honestly, thank you from the bottom of my heart for all of your contributions. If you haven't yet, like and subscribe. The more likes we get and the quicker we get them, the bigger this channel will grow and the faster it will grow. I'd love nothing more than this channel to become something very special for you guys, but it's entirely up to you how fast that happens. Also, if you'd like more deck techs, that's somewhere over there. And if you'd like to see what else the channel's been up to lately, that's somewhere up that way. Also, subscribe, circle below, do all the things.